Uda, our guest of honor today, all the participants at Ibn Khaldun conference room, ISTAC IIUM, all the viewers in our ISTAC YouTube channel, and also the Zoom. Welcome to Al-Aqsa Alive exhibition and lecture. Alhamdulillah, in the spirit of Al-Aqsa Alive civilization and freedom for Palestine, ISTAC has started the exhibition, which is called Al-Aqsa Alive, the spirit of civilization and freedom for Palestine. It is a group art exhibition, Malaysian and Palestinian artists with art created with the original aluminium plates from Dome of the Rock. Alhamdulillah, we have planned today to have this first lecture by Dr. OSAMA Auda, the chairman of Electrochemical Metallizing EST Co., the sole buyer owner of the Dome of the Rock aluminium of Al-Aqsa. And let me welcome you all to this first, which will be followed by few other activities, including forum and maybe other lectures. Let me, before we request Dr. OSAMA to deliver his lecture, let me say that this exhibition at ISTAC, which will be here for 2 weeks, and this event at ISTAC was not possible without the contribution of Dr. OSAMA Auda and without the contribution of Professor Dr. Murad American here from ISTAC IIUM. It is really a great honor for ISTAC to have this exhibition about Al-Aqsa and Palestine. To at least we participate and contribute to creating that awareness about Al-Aqsa, awareness about the Palestinian struggle and drive for liberation. It is also very great to remind ourselves here that Alhamdulillah at ISTAC here in the last 2 years we have organized many exhibitions of culture and arts. But I think this exhibition this time around has a very deep and significant meaning because it is related to the issue of Palestine and the genocide in Gaza and what's happening in that sacred land of this ummah. So talking about Al-Aqsa is something very precious and very important for all Muslims to keep alive that spirit of Al-Aqsa and that spirit of the presence of the Muslim ummah, the Muslim mind, the Muslim culture, the Muslim civilization, the Muslim heritage. Its presence in that place, which is now occupied by the Zionists, brothers and sisters. With this introduction, I'm very much honored to call upon Dr. OSAMA Auda to deliver his lecture. And I thank all the participants who are here in the YouTube channel and in the Zoom for coming and participating with us. Go ahead.
Thank you. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. شكرا Thank you, brother Prof. Abdulaziz and Prof. Murad and all the distinguished sisters and brothers here. It's an honor for me to be with you for such a noble activity among the unique activities of ISTAC, and to be honored to introduce some information and knowledge about our beloved place, Al-Aqsa Mubarak, and more specifically, the Dome of the Rock, which happened to be that I have some kind of a special relation, which started even before getting my first son born. So I'll try to highlight the non-standard aspects about Dome of the Rock and about Al-Aqsa. We will talk 3 main chapters on this speech: the history of Palestine, Jerusalem, then Al-Aqsa, Islamic history of Palestine and its first Islamic capital, actually, Al-Quds Sharif and Al-Aqsa. And the third section will be about the technical issues of how the Dome of the Rock was renovated all over history and its significance. And of course, the exhibition that is with great honor was for us that ISTAF is hosting this activity to highlight it for all Malaysians and visitors and people who are coming to ISTAC. So we start to speak about the history. It is known that this old map, this is one of the maps of the old world, which speaks about the 3 continents, the main 3 continents: Asia, Europe, and Africa. And if we look on the Middle East, in the center of the Middle East, where almost these 3 continents meet, there is Palestine land. And of course, this map, hundreds of years done away, and it shows that the center of the world is Al-Quds, the holy city of Al-Quds, which is a very historic city of Palestine. We know very well in our country that Palestine used to be a door or a road for all civilizations all over history. We have the Romans, the Persians, the Greeks, pharaohs as well. And it happened that because it's center between the 3 continents, especially the connection land between Africa and Asia, and as well very close to Europe. So there is, I would say, it is oversaturated by archaeological findings of 3 or main civilizations of our world. And needless to say that all religions have their significant places, the 3 Abrahamic religions, which is Islam as the one which is prevailing non-stop actually since the start of Islam. So Al-Quds is known for its history as the oldest city almost in the world, or let's say the oldest capital, because there are some speeches says that Jericho is the oldest city in Palestine, or Damascus, but it's one of the oldest and most significant cities. So the name of Al-Quds used to be, I'm not that expert on history. I believe our people now might be angry with me if I make some mistakes, so please forgive me if I am not properly introducing the historic aspect of this issue of Jerusalem, which used to be Canaani name, or Salem, I believe. This is one of the maps done hundreds of years ago showing the old city of Jerusalem. So at that time, it was named or Salem, then Jerusalem or Jerusalem, then Orshalim or Orshalim or Shalem or Salim. Then Al-Quds al-Sharif become, I believe, on the Islamic era. Now, as we said, the land of history of Palestine is very rich, and on top of it is Al-Quds or Jerusalem. It's just to mention, aside this issue, one small note, which is not here, that I came myself from a village named Bidya in Palestine. I was born in this village. We work in olive oil, and we have in the village very old trees. we name them Roman trees because some of them back to more than 2,000 years old. And when we looked on the origin of the word Vidya, it came from the language of Jesus Christ, which was spoken in the Palestine and the Aramaic language, Aramean, اللغة الأرامية. And of course, there is the Phoenicians, but the Aramaic language 2,200 years ago, it was spoken in that part of the world, in our part of the world, which means the stone for crushing olives, the bidda or bad. And although here we have, I don't want to make publicity, but we have olive oil there for small mini packs of our stone press bidya, which is by a stone. It is not unfortunately here, but just which means coming from the old name of bidda or bad. So this meaning shows that the historic land of Palestine was the origin of olive trees. And just another information, I used to be the chairman of Palestine Olive Council in Palestine and chairman of cooperatives. Now I quitted all these semi-official institutions working independently. This, according to, once I visited the Spanish International Olive Council in Spain, and it was according to their excavations and documentation. You have to know that the land of Palestine is very full of history and traditions and progress all over history. They found that the oldest and biggest agro-industry known to the world was found in northern part of Palestine, in area named Clear. And this backs to 600 years before Jesus Christ, means 2,600 plus years ago on the Iron Age. And the excavation found out that at that time, on the Iron Age, 2,600 years ago, the total amount of olive oil produced on this area exceeds 600 tons, means 600,000 liters of olive oil. I am, as an olive oil producer and owner of a stone press in our village, I know how difficult to produce olive oil, especially if you don't have machine electricity. Means every 5 kilos, Prof. Abdulaziz maybe knows that, you have to produce 1 liter of oil. Means 600,000 liters by 5, 3 million kilos of olives. And they were crushed by stone with physical effort of animals or humans. And the report says this is the largest and ever known agro-industry, the oldest and largest, not China, not India, no anywhere. It was in Palestine for olive oil production. And olive oil tree believed to start its journey around the coast of Mediterranean. Just another small note about it. Before the so-called Israel was established, my late father told me about a competition when he was young. He was mayor of the village. There was a competition during British mandate over Palestine in 1994-95. And we have here a certificate, I can show it to you afterwards, which is written in 3 languages, Arabic, English, and Hebrew, which says that olive oil competition, the Department of Fishery and Agriculture of England, which is the same name in mandate of Palestine, الحج محمود العودة وأولاده من قرية بديا. Hajj Mahmoud Ode, my grandfather, late grandfather, and his sons, my father, late father, and uncles, from Qaryat Bidya, Bidya village, Nablus area, won the best olive oil ever in Palestine. And they issued for us a certificate. There was no Israel at that time. And as regarding this, some influencer says that the Israelis took it furnished Palestine. There was an airport, there were rail stations, there were newspapers, there was so much things. And they come and claim that no Aqsa, no land, it is all theirs, which is big, absurd and big lie. So now back to the Islamic history of our Palestine, our Jerusalem, our Aqsa. First day of Islam started, of course, 1446 years Hijri. Our Prophet Muhammad started calling for Islam, and for, if I am not mistaken, the first 13 years of Islam, the Qibla of Muslims was not Mecca, was Al-Aqsa al-Mubarak. Of course, based on the history, Prophet Abraham came to Palestine and he had his two sons, Ishaq and Ismail. But there is a mosque, of course, as well, the Ibrahimi mosque in Hebron, Al-Haram al-Ibrahimi. But Al-Aqsa believed to be made by Prophet Abraham. So the first Qibla was Al-Aqsa. During the 23 years of the prophecy life of our Prophet ﷺ, since he was 40 years till 63 when he passed away, the 13 years of Islam, first 13 years where Al-Aqsa was the first Qibla. If I am correct, then on the 9th year of Islam, the miracle of Isra wal Mi'raj took place. Again, from Al-Aqsa, or the heart of Al-Aqsa, Al-Isra al-Mi'raj. Here is a 3D photo of Al-Aqsa, where on the, yes, here I can try to make, yeah, here is named the so-called, they name it the Wailing Wall, but it is actually named Al-Buraq, where the angel that carried Buraq, which carried Prophet Muhammad, was tied here near this wall. Then Prophet entered to the Al-Aqsa, and there is a rock here. There was no dome of the rock. It is believed that Prophet ﷺ ascended to heavens from this rock, and araja ila samawati al-ula, where he was Imam of all prophets, and where our five prayers were dictated. So Al-Aqsa is not just a disputed temple or mosque or surah, as CNN and the Western media devils, they say that, for instance, uprising of 2002, 2003 happened when Ariel Sharon entered a disputable mosque in Temple Mount area. So there is no first Qibla, no Isra al-Mi'raj, no significance. Like if it is disputable, like a small surah somewhere disputing about it. And I remember our neighbor son from Goshe family was severely wounded. Few people were shaheed and wounded, tens of them. And this becomes Temple Mount. And the media around everywhere in the West, they name it Temple Mount. So that was mentioned in CNN, that this chaos happened when Ariel Sharon entered Temple Mount area and there is a disputable mosque. It's amazing how they put it like a poisoned information, where people, they trust such media sometimes, and they take the wrong backside story. Anyway, the Aqsa is, of course, to notify it, it's the whole area which is starting all around from all this part inside the wall, where it have Al-Musalla al-Kibali, this one, Jami' al-Aqsa. We have the Dome of the Rock. We have Qubba al-Nahawiyya here. We have Qubba al-Silsila here. We have Musalla al-Marwani here. Many, many things. Sabil Qaitabai inside from the Mamluki era, and many, more than 115, 120 significant places within Al-Aqsa. And again, the Israeli devils, they say, you have the mosque here, you have the Qubbat Sakhra, around 2,000 square meters, and this is 8,000, say, square meters. Then you have these two mosques, because when you enter Al-Aqsa, you do not take off your shoes, then this is not a mosque. Although everybody prays there whenever the Salah comes, even in the Yaz al-Aqsa. We give you this 8,000 square meters and 2,000 square meters of Dome of the Rock, and the remaining out of the 144,000 square meters, 134 means 93% will make it public yards for rank people or wherever under the municipality of Israel, of Urushalim or Jerusalem. But we have to focus that Al-Aqsa is one unity altogether, which is not just one, the Dome of the Rock or the Masjid Al-Aqsa. It's all together as one unity. Yeah. So now back about the Dome of the Rock. Of course, when in the first era of Islam, the first century, and after Isra Mi'raj, and after start of Islam, 60, 70 years after start of Islam, And it seems, yeah, here is the mouse, I catch it. So, Umayyad Khalifa Abdul Malik ibn Marwan constructed the so-called Dome of the Rock. And this building, Dome of the Rock, was meant to protect the rock which was blessed by the foot of Prophet Muhammad. I think we should have photo from Dome of the Rock. I will skip some photos to see inside what is it about. Then we go back. Here, if you see on this photo, there is the rock here. And it is surrounded by the columns of the neck of the dome of the rock. Then we have the metallic dome. And inside, there is the wooden dome, which is nicely decorated, but it's all made of very gold leaves inside and wood, but it is fragile for atmosphere outside. That's why it should be protected with a metallic dome. So the Dome of the Rock history was renovated many times over history. This is more than 100 years, how it looked at the old ages, or say about 100 years ago. And this is all was covered by lead, the metallic dome. Sometimes it used to be covered by, let's say, copper or bronze. And the last time it was renovated, it was before the last gold plating. It was coated with aluminum that we have to speak about it later on, which is a unique story by itself, in 1964. So the dome here, and not only the dome, the roofs as well here, were coated with aluminum. Let's see, this is the dome with aluminum. And I think some friends knows that this is the aluminum dome, and this is as well aluminum roofing, the octagonal of the Dome of the Rock, and of course the neck, the roofs between them, inclined roofs, they are coated with 4 millimeters aluminum as well. Why aluminum? Because aluminum on the late 50s of last century and early 60s was a booming metal, very modern, very efficient, like we speak now, AI, something in the electronic industry, leader of this. Aluminum used to be very expensive 100 years ago as a metal, because extracting aluminum was very difficult, not easy, and it used to be more expensive than silver, much more. So if you are having to be proud of yourself, oh, you have silver, I have aluminum, you see something, spoons or whatever. Recently, or by history, by progress of technology, they managed to start improving new techniques of extracting aluminum from the ores of aluminum, not only by metallurgical techniques. Additional to metallurgical, they are using electrometallurgical, the discipline that we studied, electrochemistry. And it's just a small 2 sentences. Electrochemistry is the science that deals with electricity and electricity merged together. And each of you have his own mobile. This is a battery which gives you the potential chemical battery backwards to electrical current. And when we finish, we pump back the electrons to get they are standing again to give electrical current when we take off the charge. So the interrelation between chemistry and electricity named electrochemistry, one of the basics of science, because even the chemical reactions, we know that water is H2O, sodium chloride that we eat, salt is sodium and chloride. The sodium atom gives 1 electron, the chloride takes 1 electron, then becomes a reaction. H2O, hydrogen, 2 plus ions of hydrogen, and 1 minus 2 of oxygen gives you a molecule of water, which we drink. Although oxygen is an oxidizing agent, hydrogen is a fuel. So here, electrochemistry is the relation, how the electrons come into or out of the atoms, let's say. And one of the main aspects of this technology is the electrochemical plating and deposition of metals, how to electroplate. Even this aluminum, by the way, was made by electrochemical techniques named anodization or oxidation of aluminum by electrochemical techniques. So when this metal become very booming by advanced new technologies of using electricity in the electrometallurgy, not the aqueous solutions, it became very available and competitive. And it's become one of the booming metals, multiplying its consumption or production every year almost, starting from the 50s. It is used in airplanes, it's used in architectural buildings, in even motors, the chassis or the build-up of some engine of the cars, because its efficiency is, say, half of the copper, of the iron, but its weight is 3 times. So instead of making a plane of, say, 100 tons of iron, you make it of 60 tons of aluminum and get the same efficiency. So you have efficiency of light, strength factor, positive regarding the aluminum. So it was in a modern attitude, and then they decided to make aluminum from this state-of-the-art new metal. That's why this restoration project was done in 1964 by the group of Bin Laden group in 1964. Bin Laden group are the group who are custodians or working on the renovation and the restoration of Al-Masjid al-Haram and Masjid al-Madinah al-Munawwar. And this second restoration was done by late King Hussein as well, because the official party in charge of Al-Aqsa till today officially is Jordan, almost 100 years. Sheikh Hussein, their grandfather, then King Abdullah, then King Hussein, and now King Abdullah II. And that's why they used aluminum. So the dome was looking very nice, very good the first few years. Then happened some problems. In the 80s, they started ringing the bell that we must renovate the Dome of the Rock because the aluminum is having problems. It was not the aluminum itself, but the way how they fixed the aluminum on the Dome of the Rock. When we speak about a dome like this one, the diameter of the dome is around 21 meters. The surface area of this half sphere is around 1,100 square meters. So when you have heat from one side, from the east, and shadow from the west side, say, of the dome, you have difference of temperature, maybe 20, 30 degrees in summertime. And the way they fix the aluminum plates, you can see them on the exhibition, either on the dome here itself or on the roofs, they use a system of nailing the plates to each other, putting them overlapping and putting them nails or aluminum 4 millimeter thickness nails. When they start expanding, this force of different expansion of metals, even if it is fraction of a millimeter for 1 square meter or 1 meter, when you speak about perimeter of the dome is 65 meters, it makes 2-3 millimeters in the shadow side. This force power cracks the aluminum nails, and slowly the dome started leaking water on winter. That's why they wanted to renovate it in a more better way by using other metal, which is not very fragile like aluminum, flexible metal like brass. They name it brass, which is an alloy. Brass is an alloy of copper with zinc. And this alloy, it formalizes so-called solid solution. Means not a mixture, not amalgam. It's like a crystallic one new metal, which is better than brass, the copper alone, better than the zinc alone. And it's so-called in metallurgy science, because we have to work with metallurgy as well, science. It's a cubic face-centered cell, where in the corners the copper and in the faces are the zinc. Anyway, this is the part of the metallurgy of the brass that they wanted to use. So the brass is more flexible, and the technique how they fix it, we speak about it later, was made in such a way that it cannot be tight or tension or expansion of the metal itself. That's why the project of renovation of the Dome of the Rock was materialized and started in 1992. My story with the Dome of the Rock started after finishing my PhD in 1985. I returned back, and before working part-time a few years later in Al-Quds University and Abu Dhabi, I started working in business, galvanizing electroplating for fences and doors and windows to make it anti-corrosional. And I bought a machine, American-made machine, for a new or let's say unique type of electroplating. Instead of putting the items into the bath where you have the so-called electrolyte, you have ions of zinc or nickel or gold, and the electricity, you switch it like the battery of the car. Then you have the ions coming to the negative, positive ions, and they get electrons, they become atoms. And these atoms, they build the atomic layers or monoatomic layers, which is known electroplating. You can see the chairs here are nickel plated. There are silver plated in the houses. There are gold plated. There is hard chromium plating for functional duties, very hard for hydraulic systems. This is functional, decorative, and protectional coatings. This is named electrochemical plating. That's why when I heard about this in 1986, a friend of mine told me they are thinking how to renovate the Dome of the Rock. I told him I saw some of the literature, how they make gold electroplating of a church in Canada. And just outside was a young man with his two sons, who is from Canada and he's from Ontario, where I visited Canada twice. And there they make a church, Byzantine style, or Slavian, sorry, style church. And they announced it that it was made by selective electroplating. The principle here that you use electroplating, instead of dipping things into the bath and connecting electricity, you just bring amount of electrolyte, especially the expensive one, the gold, and you start brushing it by electricity connection, like a welding machine or something like that. Anyway, this is the photos of the electroplated items of the, or plates of the Dome of the Rock. Now, just before speaking about this, I made this study and I delivered it to the Restoration Committee headquarters in Amman in Jordan, where they welcomed it. It's okay, very good idea to make selective on-site electroplating. And then one day in 1991, a friend of mine said, the renovation of the Dome of the Rock will be done by Saudis. Told him, it cannot be, Jordan is responsible. And the devil Israelis, they put an article in the newspaper which says the following, brother. If not the first Gulf War, the Dome of the Rock could have not been renovated. Now let's think what this means. In the first Gulf War, late King Hussein of Jordan stand with Iraq, with Saddam Hussein. Other Arabic countries, they were against, and they were with Kuwait, and they were Saudis, a bit angry of King Hussein, why he opposed them with Saddam Hussein. Then I look at the newspapers. King Fahd, I believe, of Saudi Arabia, announced that we will be renovating the Dome of the Rock, even if it is tens of millions of dollars value. Then he sent the UNESCO delegation. Then Jordan wake up and they say, no, it's ours. Then they say King Hussein sold his house in London, and the financing immediately appeared. About $10 million project, which includes the gold electroplating or substituting the aluminum with gold electroplated brass, nickel, then gold, then putting an alarm system inside the dome to distinguish fire in case of fire, not to happen like happened in Masjid Al-Aqsa or Jami Al-Aqsa in 1968, based on which the IOC, International Islamic OIC, Organization of Islamic Conference, or cooperation now named, was established based on the fire or arson of Al-Aqsa. So they took care very much of this part. And the third part was, I hope I have a photo of the Dome of the Rock with the aluminum. This is the aluminum of the Dome of the Rock. And this is the roofs, which you see how they look on this photo. Because it was leaking water, they put asphalt, they put sometimes cement, and was not a successful solution. So the third part is to renovate the whole roofs and to take off these beams or skeletons of barracks, or how they name it, structural holding beams and substitute them as the old way with very unique material, very solid wood with big beams made of special wood, which was substituted here and here. And this wood was made properly treated in Ireland because the winner of the tender was a British-Irish company. Its name, Maivan Overseas. So they made the wood in Ireland, in Belfast, and there was a port where they say the Titanic, the famous Titanic, was built there on that port. They make this wooden scaffolding or beams, bearing beams. Then all the roofs here, after removing the aluminum, all the roofs were covered by wood, integrated into each other wood, then plates of lead, very flexible and very smooth lead. The wood, I think they name it some kind of a tree from Africa named poppy tree or something like that. They brought it from Africa to Ireland. They processed it, they treated it, and they make the jamaloon or holding beams. And we can look on the references, we can find such a photo where you see beams like this. Not to use aluminum, which is more durable in the long term and not corroding, and if it is protected from rain, it can hundreds of years. So they removed all the aluminum which was here, and the dome was taking place to be renovated. So the aluminum was in this roof and on these roofs as well, and the beams which were here. So if we go back to this photo, this, I think in 1991, when they started seriously speaking about the money already there, I visited Al-Aqsa. They called me. The contractors wanted to see me, the potential contractors, 5 companies. Then I said, they told me you have to, if you like to work with us. Then Al-Awqaf and Restoration Committee, they told me you have to work with us for the sake of Al-Aqsa. So I chose Al-Aqsa people, and I worked as a supervisor on the quality control of the Maivan Overseas Company, which happened to be the one who won the tender, British-Irish company. And there are some photos. Let me see if I have it or not. Oh, what's happened? I think it stopped. Oh, sorry. I make some mess, I think. Sorry. So, yeah. So now we spoke about aluminum. We spoke briefly about we speak about the gold. So the so-called gold electroplating of the Dome of the Rock was not easy to implement it, because before the budget was there, some people of the Restoration Committee, some of them, if you can download it again. They said, we will put brass as it is. Brass is yellowish color metal, but it tarnishes, it oxidizes easily by atmosphere. One of the late engineers, vice chairman of the committee, we made in Palestine Engineers Association a workshop, how to renovate the Dome of the Rock. My speech was mainly about how the gold electroplating, why it is important, because tens of years it will protect the Dome of the Rock. So we made a workshop. I explained what is the meaning of electroplating, why it is advantageous on the outside atmosphere, because it's compact, crystallized very well. So then next day, he was putting in the newspapers that the Dome of the Rock, nobody is against the gold, but the economic and financial, let's say political and financial conditions of the Islamic Ummah does not permit them to do the so-called gold electroplating of the Dome of the Rock. And then he mentioned the sentence, which for me, it was very important. He said, the Dome of the Rock will science and technology, it is like kufr, you know. And anyway, the gold, the brass doesn't tarnish and stays forever like its color. Then I answered in the newspaper there, if this right, His Excellency Raif Najm, at that time, he passed away, very, very talented person, then he should get a dozen of Nobel Prizes because he will achieve the dream of all humanity to find gold. 1 gram is equals to 100 kilos of brass. Then he found 10 Nobels he should get if brass does not corrode. Anyway, and when regarding the so-called political conditions of Islamic Ummah, I said the following: if he wants better conditions, and Israel at that time, I'll show you now a photo, but at that time, Israel already allowed Jordan to make renovation of the dome, which took place, as we saw in the photos. If we want better conditions, and we are allowed to do it, then this means the better conditions is to liberate Al-Quds, Tahrir Al-Quds and Al-Aqsa. And because it is leaking of water, as an expert, I said, I guarantee almost that the Dome of the Rock can wait another 2-3 years, maximum 4 years, without, let's say, renovating. We can, it will not be that dangerous, but after 4 years, we must do it. If His Excellency Raif Najm can guarantee that the Dome of the Rock can be liberated after 4 years, then we can wait, and the Dome of the Rock can wait. As a technician, on my responsibility. Of course, we know what is the situation after 35 years already. So, regarding this small nuance, liberating of Al-Aqsa or Palestine, years later, we made the project at the end because Jordan. I will show you a photo here, but we can send it to you. It's a single tile, you see, Professor, in the lands of Al-Aqsa. And here, this is the chief engineer inside Al-Aqsa. For changing a small tile inside the yards of Al-Aqsa, now it is forbidden. He was arrested for a single tile. So the political conditions is to liberate Jerusalem, to liberate Al-Quds. But can he guarantee it? The whole Muslim Ummah, unfortunately, couldn't guarantee it till now. So we have to do it. So it was done. According to that, the Dome of the Rock the project was given to so-called Maivan Overseas. And this company is a British-Irish company. And I was chosen by the Awqaf as supervisor of the work and designer. And the plating and substitution of plates took place actually, and the project finished in 1992. So just to mention about the technique of fixing big metallic surfaces. If you fix them direct, then extension, shrinking and expansion of heat can break it. What they did, very clever way, say you have plates of aluminum, of copper, of brass. If you tile them like this, where the roof, the water comes up, it will not go under the two plates like this. So not only that, they bended these plates like this, and the other plate was bended like this, and they put them together in such a way, say like this. So if the water comes, it has to go zigzag again to come to the inner side of the Dome of the Rock, which is impossible almost. So this is, each plate have the possibility of few millimeters moving, each single plate of the Dome of the Rock, square plates, gold plates. And the same with the vertical lines. So it was till now very freely moving, let's say, relaxed, not tension, not shrinking, not expansion of the metal itself. And regardless how hot, how cold the weather, sometimes we have snow in Jerusalem, it will be fixed, relaxing plates all over. And yes, no stress, no tension. Finally, we come back. As me, I am, as they consider us terrorists in electronics or Palestinian. So I wonder if, yeah, yeah. Yeah, another one. Anyway, so yeah. You will charge me for that computer I ruined for you?
Yeah.
I not have money. I said I am not good in touching things. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. So back to the renovation of the Dome of the Rock, we say this is the aluminum one. Now, this is the so-called gold plating. They put on top of the dome, the skeleton which holds the dome, they put so-called dacron material, which is a white material here. Before this, they put sealed slices of wood which are integrated to each other. Yani they built as one unit. They put them, and they are properly made to protect the inner dome, to isolate temperature as well. Then they put a cover of dacron, like this on the ground here, moquette or what they name it, a material which is done on the so-called on the dome here, the white one. Then we started fixing the plates all over the dome, the golden plates, the gold plating. The gold plating took place on the ground like a rotating electrode. Then afterwards, each plate was fixed up into the dome. And sometimes we have to make some kind of touch-up repairs on the cornice side of the dome. Here, we speak about these edges, very small. So we put such a thing here, there. So this is more clear here on the edges, this one. This, by the way, this edge, the corridor or it's 1.2 meters. So 2 people can walk around the dome. The edge itself, which you saw here with my photo working on it, is about 35 centimeters. We make some touch-up gold plating on site as well. And as you see, this is the electric connection of the negative cathode. And this is the tool or the electrode soaked with gold, 50 grams per liter GPS, they name it, gold potassium GPC, gold potassium cyanide solution. And it is connected with the wire to the other, and these both are connected to the DC power supply, like a welding machine or something. So this is how the gold plating of the dome. At the end, they put the finial on, fix it, and then started removing the scaffolding out of the dome. As you see here, it was Maivan, if you can find this photo. Maivan oversees the company who executed the project. And I was supervising and making some technical suggestions for them. And it was once such a degree happened that because they brought some experts which were not capable of doing things. Then I was in a meeting, and sometimes I advise them to make this technique. For instance, when you bend these plates, as we said, you bend it 190 degrees, 180 degrees, there will be cracks on the gold. I suggested them how to treat each single plate with gold plating and other reports, but I will check. It does not mean that necessarily my suggestion should be accepted and I accept it. I must check if it is okay or not. Then one time I was in a meeting. This is the finished gold dome, almost, with a door which goes between the 2 domes. This is the last part of the Dome of the Rock acceptance of the project and delivery of the project. This man here seems to be me a long time ago. Yeah. And this is the main chief engineer before the other one. And this is the Sheikh Abdul Azim Salhab, the chairman of Jerusalem subcommittee. And this is engineer Raif Najm, which, by the way, after finishing the project, and he saw what I did, because once I was in the Ministry of Awqaf of Jordan, then the minister, he said, Dr. OSAMA, I read your reports, and you always say this and this. Are you with us or with the contractor? I told him, sorry, Your Excellency, I am not with you, not with the contractor. I am with the Dome of the Rock. I suggest them how to do, but I check on them because it does not mean necessarily that I want this technique. If they bend and there is crack, they should make a special electrode similar to touch-up one repair to make gold electroplating. At the end, at the newspaper, Dr. Raif Najm, engineer, who said that nobody is against gold, but it is not feasible, blah, blah, and the engineers are making some mistakes. There was a report in the local Ayyam newspaper where he says the gold electroplating of the Dome of the Rock was made with a talented, very professional, talented way by experts of Palestine itself. He admitted that. Alhamdulillah, this is a good certificate for me. Anyway, this is the story of the gold electroplating. Now, the last chapter here, the Dome of the Rock aluminium was taken off from the dome and was installed in Al-Musalla Al-Marwani, which is just near Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, Al-Jami Al-Aqsa, in the yards, southeastern yards of Al-Aqsa, on top of Musalla Al-Marwani, where a lot of struggle happens there in Ramadan because Muslims, they want to stay in Musalla Al-Marwani and Israelis do not allow them. This Musalla Marwani, if I go quickly to the first photo of the 3D, this is this area here. So as you see, the wall of the Al-Aqsa here is, here you can see it. Oh, sorry, with the photos, as you see, it is noticed here maybe a little bit, yeah, in the second photo, yeah. So these are the yards where the aluminum was found. So the first time I climbed to the Dome of the Rock, they put the scaffolding before the start of the project. And this, in this moment, the first time in my life, I climbed to the Dome of the Rock here. They opened the aluminum plates, this is the aluminum ones, to see the beams, structural beams, holding the whole skeleton of the metallic dome, the outer dome. Because as we say, we have the metallic one and we have the inner decorated one that we see it very nicely. But there is a corridor between them. Maybe you noticed a door between them, about 1 meter, where you go from one dome, from inside the corridor up to the... So when the first time they took this aluminum place, first time in my life I climbed there, I thought if they want to sell the aluminum, whether here or here, I should buy it in no matter what. This is, by the way, the door where you climb inside and you go up to the finial. And I have some photos standing here on top, climbing from here to make some checking and so on. So this aluminum they announced a tender in 1995, in June 95. I have a copy of the newspaper announcement. And we happened that our price unbeatable, and it was really very privileged for Al-Aqsa, alhamdulillah. And we managed to sign the agreement. And this is just to show you the agreement signed by Awqaf Restoration Committee between myself and Al-Aqsa, our company, where it says that the second party, myself, of course, the first party is restoration, مؤسسة CALDDING كهروكيماوي, electrochemical metallizing, represented by Dr. OSAMA, are the sole owners of this aluminum. We took 1 month loading the aluminum and taking it with the skeleton beams to our stores, and this is my 2 staffs at that time, young people, to clean the aluminum, especially the roofs, inclined roofs, where have a lot of asphalt on it. So what we did, we heated the clean part, then we peeled off the asphalt fibers by hand from the other side. So all this aluminum, I bought it. I have never been a trader of scrap or metals. I had this idea, why we need to give this aluminum, to get this aluminum. This is why, to divert it into reminders, to awakening up appeal and call about Al-Aqsa, in a clever way and tool to bring people not to understand the word. Al-Aqsa is ours, alhamdulillah, this is Muslim. These people already do not accept it easily. And just to mention something quickly, a friend of mine told me in Jerusalem, where Israelis, they make generations of Americans educated by their way how to become loyal to Israel. They bring them young people free of charge to Jerusalem, excursions and see. Then they show them that they film out this. The same they make with adult people. They find technique ways. Don't go to the Muslims, to the Arabs, to the Palestinians. They are savage, they kill you. They They terrorize them from us. Then one friend of mine, he found like this certificate. This is for Al-Aqsa items that he brought it, found it in Al-Quds, Jerusalem, which says the following on top: State of Israel, Orushalim, capital of Israel. Greetings to you, dear valued tourists. You are now becoming a member of the Friends of Orushalim, they name it, Orushalim, capital of Israel. And you become member of the Friends of Israel as well. Oh, wow, I got a nice certificate. I become a member of Israel. Subconsciously becomes admitting the fact that Orushalim is 3-4 times mentioned. Congratulations, Mayor of Israel, Teddy Kolik, Mayor of capital of Israel. And he gets this certificate, happy. Then they take him near the Knesset. You see, all the Arabs want to kill us. You have to, of course, I'm solidarity with you. Can you sign paper that you will do your best to support Israel? And that's how they monopolize and they drag people, they bluff them, they brainwash them, they embarrass them, and they take from them their decision. That's why they do not dare to stand against them in the Congress everywhere. On the other hand, our role, when they put some taboos not to question the Holocaust, you can question the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, make jokes on him. Freedom of thinking. When it comes to Israel, to the so-called Semitism, anti-Semitism, Holocaust, you become evil, even by European laws. You cannot question them. You can question the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, anything except this. So you are exceptional, they make it. Why we do not, as Muslims, where we have the reality and the facts, the non-stop history over centuries, before Islam, the Arabs of Palestine, the Canaanites, and so on, and Christian as well, and Muslim era, non-stop, as the first capital of Islam is Al-Quds. Why we stay silent of speaking about such media which says Temple Mount? We should announce our voice loudly to say there is nothing named Temple Mount, and to charge anybody who says this is Temple Mount. When we go, some graphic designers knows that the fact, I just want to show you that the Dome of the Rock, if you click on Corel Draw program, I hope I have it. When you look on the Dome of the Rock as a graphic design in this Corel Draw version 6, you will see the Dome of the Rock with a crescent, with a cross, not with a crescent. And here is the photo. You look, this photo. Yeah. Sure. You see? Where are we from this? You can't. And all the Muslim Ummah, sorry to say that, they don't do anything. I don't say that they do not care, but we have to do. This is what we are doing here. I hope it will be a way to bring the world with this unique idea of bringing the message of non-stop history. Jordan already 100 years. Before that, other eras, Mamluki, Ottomani, other Muslims, from the first days of Islam. It is Al-Aqsa ours. How we can continue to focus on this civilization, this history, this heritage, with a unique way. This is when we say that this certificate is about Al-Aqsa and delivered in 1996. I bought the aluminum. We went to Dubai and so-called the global village, they name it, global tourist village, was on the peak in Dubai. And I have this place, and the Khalij Times newspaper, I remember the name of the journalist, I have a copy of it at that time, Sahar Ali, original Indian. She said, Dr. OSAMA said that he have a dream that this metal, these souvenirs, to be presented to all the VIP, presidents of Western and non-Western world, to have the proof about Al-Aqsa. Because when they read the media, disputable Surah or mosque, and it is Temple Mount. But when they read that Isra wal Mi'raj ayah, first Qibla of Islam, as we have here, how come this, where is the temple? They will start questioning, your story is fake. That's how we can counter this in the media, in the awareness, with solid facts, with reality, with civilization, with attitudes. Anyway, I should not talk that much, but I hope I covered some parts. And of course, as we say, we made some unique presence of this. And We do hope we can arrange something, Prof. Abdulaziz, with your good self on the 20th, inshallah, for our rector, inshallah. This is, we can talk about it. Having this idea, inshallah. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I took a lot of your time. I think it's a bit more than 40 minutes, Prof. Murad. That's okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Osama. I think that's really good, like blending the civilizational perspective and the cultural, the history, and the civilizational impact or meaning of Al-Aqsa. And I can call this work of Dr. Osama is another way of da'wah or another way of promoting Al-Aqsa as Islamic and as civilizational and proving that the history of that land is Islamic and is originally Arabic. So we can call this one what the Dome of Rock or the Aluminium Diplomacy. So,
Very well said, yeah.
So this
very
is a
good.
new way of diplomacy from
Or-
cultural diplomacy to international relation diplomacy to political diplomacy. Today we talk about this new way of really how to create awareness, wa'i, among our young children, our ummah. You see the examples that he gave, how the Yahud or the Zionists, they promote their version of the temple or their things. They use it in business cards or they use it in tourist things, just things that can go to your psychic, to your mind, just easily. And then you start promoting their version without knowing that it's really wrong. I think that's really something very good. Thank you, Dr. Osama, once again for this exposure and also for allowing us to see this beautiful exhibition at ISTAC here. And I think I need to thank Prof. Murad also because he is the link to do all this. So, brothers and sisters, our friends and participants who are in the Zoom there, you can ask questions directly or write questions. And people here, please, you go ahead for your discussion, deliberation, so that we enrich the discussion. I start with Dr. Mehmet Uzai. Please, Dr. Mehmet, go ahead.
Dr. Osama, thank you very much for this kind presentation. It is electrochemical. Bergut Hocam says aluminium, but more than electrochemical, I think. They are
Sorry,
playing
again?
a role over here in this engineering
Yes.
function. So the first photo, this is drawn by the Europeans,
Yes.
either before Romans
Yeah.
or zero Jesus, or just after. It providing the cosmology of the Western Europeans, understanding the geography. So
Yeah.
they divided three. This is based on the biblical Bible information, representing the three sons of Prophet Noah. So they divided the geography,
Yeah.
three equal parts: Asia, Europe,
Africa,
and
Europe.
Africa. So in the middle, Jerusalem.
Yes.
So in fact, this is again spiritually based on very significant information providing that Jerusalem is something very unique. Not only just for Muslims, but for other revealed religions. But
Yes.
probably we can say that they deviated
Mm.
from the fact.
Yeah.
So this is what first. The second one, I have heard that some Indonesian architects contributed to the renovation process in Jerusalem. I guess the similar years, 1991, 1992.
For the Dome of the Rock?
Yeah. Do you have any information about this?
Yeah. Okay. I start with the second quicker to answer, because when you speak about the Al-Aqsa and Dome of the Rock, officially the people in charge are under Jordan. Not only that, the Jerusalem issue, Awqaf of Jerusalem still taking their salaries and they follow the day vocations of Jordan because they are official staff of Jordan. The Awqaf of Al-Quds, Jerusalem, and the Restoration Committee inside Al-Aqsa. Everybody who works there, engineers, accountants, guard, they are Jordanian staff employees of the Restoration Committee. During the Oslo process of political issues about Palestine issue with the PLO people, from the days of late Yasser Arafat, and even nowadays with the chairman of the Palestine Authority, President Mahmoud Abbas. Before that, when late Arafat was alive, King Hussein was acknowledged by Israel, late King Hussein, that Jordan is responsible for Al-Aqsa. And regarding the final solution of the Palestine issue, they gave them the so-called Palestine Authority. But Jerusalem still under dispute. Actually, all Palestine now is, as we see in Gaza. So King Hussein, late King Hussein, announced the following: we will deliver the custodiancy to the Palestinians once there will be an agreement that they will take over East Jerusalem. And we are very happy to give it back to them as the owners, because Al-Aqsa, what is Al-Aqsa? Is geographically Palestinian city of Jerusalem, administratively Arabic Islamic country Jordan, mentally wise and religious wise for the whole Muslim Ummah. So the administration realistically should be the country, which is Palestine, but we don't have a state here. So this regarding the responsibility. So anything else from any country so far, not Indonesia, not Saudis, cannot be done without a consignment and agreement with Jordan. Now, the three religions, as we said, it is known that I believe the historians, I'm afraid to say something wrong here, but Prophet Abraham, alayhi the father of all prophets, believed to be 2,000 years before Jesus Christ, something like that, which means there is between Christianity from Prophet Abraham till Christianity 2,000 years. Before that, few hundred years, they believe that King Solomon, who founded the Jewish temple or whatever, the Jewish tribes, I will not go deep to that history because I'm not that knowledgeable about it. Before Jesus Christ, there was so-called the Ibrani so-called state, where tribes, Ibrani states, tribes where came from Egypt or something. They founded the so-called Ibrani state in Israel, in Palestine. This was before Jesus Christ. And it did not last more than 80 years. It was split afterwards between Judea and Samaria. Samaria is the southern one, Judea is the northern one of Jerusalem, among each other. And it seems they are closing to this and they are questioning, can we survive another 3 years to become 80 years? Yeah, Nakba was yesterday. So at that time, Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon took one of them, then the Romans took the other, then Jesus Christ appeared or came as a prophet. So we should not rely on a myth or even a solid fact dating back to 2,000 years, 2,500 years, or less than 100 years to give them the thinking that this land is there. Who are Jewish people? Nowadays, one of the interviews I met in RT with one of the retired special forces of Israel. His grandfather was one of the establishers of Israel. This underground going program asked him, he is now putting Dar al-Harriya on his back. He is supporting Palestine. He does not recognize his state Israel. Say, what is Israel? This is a group of bunches of people here and there. You have the Falasha from Africa, you have the Moroccan, you have the Russian, you have the Caucasian, and all they have this weird ideology which is not related to the Torah, the real one, the Talmud, which is diverted. And these contradictional ethnic groups, even with religion, with culture, with this and that, it's like a gathering of interest of this, like cocktail of people. And yesterday one said terminology, they look like, sorry to say that, like the only thing where we have contradiction thing is the dumping yard, you know. And this group, they are named a state, which is, it's not a nation. nothing to show that they are a nation. And it's tapped by a Scotch tape. And this Scotch tape is becoming deteriorating. Soon it will collapse. Otherwise, if we look on the ethnology or anthropology, any nation, it's a group of amount of big people, hundreds of years living in harmony together with culture, with civilization, with common language, common interests, say Malay people in this part of the world, Chinese, some Arabs, some Europeans, English people. But if you go back to a claim that you were there 2,600 years ago, 500 years, and you stayed 100 years, then you have to be fair with everybody in the world. Let's put priorities. Priorities much, much before they will become on the end of the list, the Jewish. Because before that, the Indians should take America, the Australians, natives will take it. Arabs should take Spain and Andalusia. Then go back to 1,500 years, somebody takes his land. Then at the end of the queue comes Israel. You have to change the whole world, then you give them whatever they claim. So it's absurd what they are saying. So religions are there, and there are some findings related to Jewish religion as well. But it does not cancel. It is neglected, very small compared with other civilizations. We have so much Roman and Persian and Greek findings, much, much more than the so-called Jewish. Christianity is there. Jesus Christ is Palestinian, actually, born in Bethlehem. So religions are, we speak about from Jesus Christ, then Islamic era, the last 1,400 years. And the people there, Canaanites and our people there, over centuries before that. So these are the people of the land. They are dying, hundreds of them killed and wounded every day, not to leave the land. While the Israelis on the first plane, they run away. They have nothing to tie with this land. So this is the narrative that we are talking about, that Prof. Murad Abdulaziz as well, talking about civilization with nationality, with Islam, with beliefs, with true, just and fair causes of humanity as well.
Sir, thank you very much for your lecture. It was very enlightening. I want to know your position regarding the AI video that was released by the extreme Israeli settlers that depicts the destruction of Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Well, this is very, very sensitive issue and very important. Yeah. No, it's important. Very, very sensitive question.
Because I think they are laying down the discourse for what they are going to do next.
Yeah, well, to start with, when you look on the media, it's last time I looked at for morning, just to check some days. And you found that the information where they control the media, where USAID used to support 6,000 plus journalists, and they brainwash people. They make NGOs. They control the capital of America, actually, these people of the financial banks, of Rothschilds, and so on. But they, as we said just now, they do not allow you to question the Holocaust or the Semitism. We are the Semitic people, more than them. The one who coming from Russia, blonde or something, nothing to do with Jewish or Semitism, as the Eastern, the few amount of Palestinian Jewish. We are our friends, our brothers, and they lived very peacefully. Even, by the way, in Andalusia, they were living in a good harmony at that time. So this kind of repeated and continuous is nothing to do with religion. They want this part of the world to control the connection of three worlds, the rules of trade, and so on. So regarding their plans and activities and what they do, it's not just passing by. They are putting these devil issues hundreds of years ago, and they try to occupy Al-Aqsa and demolish it. When they make the arson, they said that this crazy man who burned Al-Aqsa, and he burned the minbar of Salahuddin, which is the symbol of freedom of Palestine and Al-Quds from the Crusaders. Here is an article, I have it, I can forward it to you, Professor Murad. which says extreme Jewish, including officers and soldiers from the special brigades, everything was ready to demolish Qubba al-Sahra in 1982. And this is part of the, his name is the author of the book, Karmi Gillon, the chairman of ex-Shabab, and sections of tearings of the state of Israel. So this article, you will be astonished what it speaks, you know, because it speaks about very detailed plan. Among these plans, they planned how to demolish Al-Aqsa with special bombs, which it was inside and not outside. And this special bombs, they already sourced it out in the bases of Golan, of occupied Syrian land. And they already decided from which part they will take Al-Aqsa, from the lowest side of the wall, eastern part of the wall, where have some trees around at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning at that date. The 2 pages are here with just sections of what they want to do. Then they sent, before that, a priest speaking very good French, Jewish, like a priest of a church, like Pope of Vatican, came to see the Islamic Christianity, friendship, and religious awareness between religions. That one, he came as a tourist, Christian. They welcomed him. Can I look inside the Dome of the Rock? Wow, wow, magnificent. Oh la la, you know, French people. Let me, please, what is the measurements between the columns? Wow, wow. He took the dimensions, where to put the bombs afterwards. Then they started training. That's what they say, the article. I hope you got it. Yeah. They started training in a cliff near Caesarea in the Mediterranean Sea, small village, Arabic one. There is Jewish a lot. How to climb the wall. It's 5, 6 meters high. At one day before, one of them, for certain reason, one of the main people there, he said, let's wait, because maybe religiously wise, we should wait for the Messiah to come. Yeah, or the Messiah al-Muntadar, yeah, waited Messiah. Then they stopped somebody new, then they revealed all this. Everything was ready to demolish the Dome of the Rock 1982. We are now 2025. 43 years ago was ready, and years before that was planned. So it's not a secret anymore that they are entering, invading Al-Aqsa. They do not allow Muslims to in. When a Muslim like Sheikh Ikrimah Sabri, 85 years old, he was sitting near the Pope and the chairman of the committee. He saw the photo giving them. He is now Imam of Al-Aqsa, and he was in Malaysia a few months ago. And they buy from us every time a few presents of these small things. I give him exceptional special price because the goals for Hayya al-Islamiyya al-Ulya. He's 85 years old. I live in the West Bank of territory. As a Palestinian, I cannot go easily to Jerusalem. But he's a Jerusalemite Muslim there, with minority of Muslims. He is not. He was prohibited 6 months from being Imam of Al-Aqsa. Why? Because when they assassinated Ismail Haniyeh in Morocco, in Friday prayer, like this day, a few months ago, I have the photo. He says Salah for his. How come you pray like that? You are not Imam anymore. Although Jordan is responsible for Al-Aqsa. They to the hell, sorry to say that, too, with Arabs, with Muslims, with Jordan, with everyone. And they punished him 6 months not to go, and he was arrested several hours. So they are working very steadily, the last, their celebration, Pesach, they named it, Easter last April, the record of Jewish, thousands of them invading Al-Aqsa. And they are working now of dividing Al-Aqsa by time and by place, like they did with the Ibrahimi mosque. By time, not during the prayers, it's ours. You go 10, 15 minutes, pray Dhuhr and go out. Those who are allowed. By place, we will take a section of Al-Aqsa. This is ours forever. Then slowly, only will be taken. So Their plans are not stopping. They are doing, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Osama. Can we have some more question, our Sheikh?
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I would like to seek clarification. When you said that the aluminium project started in 1960,
64.
64, yeah. Before that, the dome was original from over 100 years ago. Is that stone masonry originally?
No, this I really, in 1964, I asked this question for the people in charge. What happened with the lead or the coating before the aluminum? Nobody knows because it was very long time. And at that time, the care about this uniqueness, and so Jordan was a humble country. They renovated it. I think it was sold for melting and whatever. The uniqueness of this significant, like wall of Berlin stones, which crossed my mind. I at that time studied in the Soviet Union. Then after collapse of Soviet Union, we heard that they started getting souvenirs of the wall dividing East-West Berlin, symbol of communism against capitalism or whatever. And some unique places, they sell the parts of it. So I told myself, they have the Kiswa of Al-Kaaba and they sell this aluminium. I must buy it no matter what. So that the lead before, nobody knows what happened. Yes, yes, called electrochemical plating.
When you look at this, when the iron you see the dome where there's and then there's a school, right?
Yes.
And under the school is the mosque. They're going solar, whatever. So the school is good, actually. People can pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going there. Whereas a corporate rent for.
Yeah.
Although it got some credit back.
Yeah.
And so we put meters so that it looks like the foot is it's not about here, but actually the foot is staying there.
Yeah. Well, there is a photo shown, if not here, in one of the catalogs, that the dome of the rock itself, the dome, the neck of the dome with the columns down, surrounding the so-called surrounding the rock, diameter is 21 meters. So the maximum size of the rock is 21 meters less. Some areas 17 meters, say 20 by 20 meters. The area of the rock on the ground of the level 0 of the dome of the rock is around 400 square meters. The highest spot of the rock, inclined or whatever, random, is 2 meters plus. Then the rock itself is not just broad and standing there. It's part of the mountain, which is like 80% of it is in the ground, down. And there is a place where there is a small door excavated in the rock. Let's say, supposedly, you have the rock like that. There is a place on the ground where have the door, and you enter down, and it's by 5 by 5 meters area with the rock structure, texture around, up to 2 meters. And there is a hole in this texture up to the inner dome, the golden one from inside, decorated one. And people pray there. And this photo, you can see it on the board there outside. And regarding the dome hanging, when you speak about the amount of the rock cubic meters, if this is 20 by 20, 400 by 100 meters by 1 meter, 400 cubic meters up the ground, and another 1,600 on the down, we speak about 2,000 cubic meters. The density of stone is about 2.5 tons per cubic meter. Water is 1 ton per cubic meter. Iron is 8 tons. Rock or stones around 2.5. Means you speak about 10,000 metric tons of weight of this rock. The rock itself. Yeah, which means 10 million kilograms. 10 million kilograms. So, according to the basic laws of our universe created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we stand here because of gravity of planet Earth. On the moon, 6 times less. So if you make like this, you can jump easily. So when you have this spin, 10 grams, not 10 million grams or whatever kilogram, you cannot keep it no matter what. So much advanced AI, which I respect very much and afraid of it, Nobody can keep it hanging 1 second against gravity. It's hanging. How come hanging? I know the Dome of the Rock like my hand, my brother. It did not move back to the cave down. If it was, they say the other story, it was moving, then Prophet says, stand still, then people were afraid, then they put something. If you crack this door, wood or whatever, you glue it perfectly, you will find the place. So this perimeter of the rock, 80 meters, if it was moved and returned back, you will see the traces of inside or there is no proof that it was moved from its place 1 single centimeter. So this is sometimes, Haji Arif called me my partner in Shah Alam. His late wife, Hajja Sabariya, was very respected and very have disease of her heart. One day after Friday, she knows very well what it's about. She came, doctor, I have a photo. The rock is hanging of the Dome of the Rock. She, where is it? She bought it near the mosque somewhere, 10 ringgits. And I laughed so much. I'm not in graphic design, but the one who made it, he didn't bother to put the same color of the rock, original rock of the Dome of the Rock. He put it a stone with some shadow in a sandy area, sand, where we don't have sand. And behind the scene, some houses, we have our houses and buildings, all from stone, all from cement, like public, very low, marginalized people in very low floors, 3, 4 floors building. And he said, the dome, hanging. Once I was traveling through Abu Dhabi, and the plane was late. And the stewardess was a Filipino. Sorry, sir, can you come to the lounge? Where are you from? I said, from Palestine. She is Christian. Oh, Palestine, Jerusalem. There is a rock hanging there. So this is very dangerous because if we like to believe on this. When we find the reality, then we start questioning, oh, it's not hanging, then it's not true. Then Islam might be something. There is no Isra al-Mi'raj, then this fires back from us. We have to be realistic. It is not mentioned in Quran that it moved ever. Isra al-Mi'raj mentioned, So this fact of reality, that's what we want to do with proofs, with evidence, our Islam. Many people, they say, by the way, that this is wrong. Dome of the Rock is not a Masjid al-Aqsa. Masjid al-Aqsa is the other rock. One Muslim lady here, city from one of the Muslim parties here, she sent me a letter, a video made by people who are, I think they have bad intention. Rock of the Dome, nothing to do with Masjid al-Aqsa. Masjid al-Aqsa is Masjid al-Qibali. Rock of the Dome is not important. Rock of the Dome. She said, it's true what he says is not important. Say, first of all, it's not Rock of the Dome. It is Dome of the Rock. It was not built 1,330 years. This year will become 1,300 years. Then they put the rock there. It is named Dome of the Rock, not Rock of the Dome. And like that. So this media brainwashing, sometimes so cheap, so not realistic, not dangerous, like the mentioning at Al-Aqsa is in Temple Mount area. It is all Temple Mount. Now, click on Old City of Jerusalem, you'll find the Old City, 5, 6 places, Gate of Zion, David Tower, Herodian Church, the Dome of the Rock with shadow, an Islamic shrine housing the foundation stone. They are preparing for the foundation stone and the dome, the temple, so-called temple. Lies become reality and our reality is lost. Sorry, sometimes I take time to answer, but your question anyway, yes, please.
Thank you, Dr. Mustafa, Dr. Osama. Can I see if there is anyone on the Zoom want to ask or inquire? Any question on the Zoom there? Okay. Alhamdulillah, I think it's already 4:32 and we are exactly on time.
Alhamdulillah.
This is really, let's give another greeting to Dr. Osama. I think this is really a very, very good lecture, combining the technical knowledge and the knowledge of history, knowledge of, reality and what's surrounding the problem of Al-Aqsa and the Dome of Rock and Palestine. And I think I'm really very grateful to the student who come all the way from Gomba to here. It's really a form of jihad because you have many things to do and many works and preparing for your thesis, for your assignment, but you come because you have that sense of responsibility about Palestine, about Al-Aqsa, about Qiblatul Muslimin, Al-Ula. And that's exactly what Brother Dr. Osama is trying to convey, but through his technical knowledge and his engineering mind and his work, and he's dedicating all his life to protect Al-Aqsa. And I think that's really a great mission to do in a time where everybody and many people are lost in life and in dunya. That's why keeping that sense of mission, sense of responsibility, sense of caring about Palestine, about Gaza, about Al-Aqsa, this is the torchlight that keeps things moving. Otherwise, we lose. And otherwise, and this ummah of Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Kuntum khayra ummah ukhrijat lin-nas. You are the best ummah ever evolved to humanity. Why? Not because you got this and you got this and you got money and you got weapon. No. تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. You تأمرون بالمعروف, you enjoy معروف. You care about others. You care about humanity. You care about your fellow Muslims. You care about Al-Aqsa. You care about Palestine. You care about Afghanistan. You care about Pakistan. You care about Malaysia. You care about Muslims everywhere. That's a sign of Iman. And you refrain from mischief, from sin, from corruption, from bad things. And tu'minuna billah. Iman is very important. Only the great believers can keep their faith and support Al-Aqsa, Palestine, and the cause of the Ummah. I think this is really a very good lecture today. Once again. Yeah, that's really very great. Just Prof. Murad reminded me that Dr. Osama will be on IKIM TV radio on Monday, 2 o'clock. Also, he will be interviewed and he will give some information about this and create awareness. And we are very grateful to the Malaysian people. I have to say this, you are among the few people in the world and the Muslim Ummah that you really support and you voice and you talk and you do, and there are NGOs, there are this, there are this. Of course, us also in our countries, we do. But what we see is really something gives hope to Palestine and to the Ummah. So thank you, Dr. Osama, for this lecture and for your effort and for the exhibition here. And we got the exhibition fi sabilillah with the help of, I think last year it was done in the museum, Bukhari Museum, and today here, and we hope next time in Kuantan, next time in Negri Sembilan, next time in many places, so that people can learn and know what we are doing. Thank you, Prof. Murad. I think you are the pillar, one of the pillars. Sister Kai, of course, very important. Where is he? He left already. Sister Kai and the stack team here. Thank you very much for the effort. Dr. Mehmet Uzay, all the people on the Zoom, thank you very much for spending all time. It's all in your mizan and scale of hasanat. Don't think that any time you spend in these things is not rewarded by God. It's definitely 100% rewarded. And hereafter, you will be surprised when you check your book. Your book hereafter, اقرأ كتابك, read your book, read the book that does not miss anything. You will be surprised. AI cannot match. The whole history cannot match, and the book never miss any detail of the movement of your eye, your eyes, your smile, your leg, your dress. You will be astonished. And the book is not, you read the book. The books check up. The book speak. Your hand, your leg speak. Everything speak. You will find in that book, oh, you check like this. Oh, that's my, oh, what is this hasanat here? What are these rewards here? Too much. Genting Highland Mountain of gold, of hasanat. What is this? Ya Allah, you ask, Ya Allah, for what this? You know, I didn't want to go to the mosque. I was not in Hajj. I didn't give money. Oh, Ya Allah, oh, you remember when you attended the lecture of OSAMA? Dalam Istak in Kuala Lumpur. And you were listening about Palestine and thinking about Palestine, and your intention, your niyyah, your qasd is for this. Then you will understand. So, brothers and sisters, may God bless you all. Let's end our session today with reading Surah Al-Asr. And thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.